Hi. So the other day, Kill the Noise was talking about something called clipping. Clipping is when you literally clip a waveform at a certain decibel, to which then anything above that goes into an overdrive mode and creates distortion. But what's really neat about this is that you can clip peaking items in your track, and peaking items in your whole song can make certain things like your limiter and compressor work harder than it needs to. And in addition to that, using clipping, you can go ahead and saturate an entire bus, making it louder, have more pop, and have a better well-rounded sound with everything being louder. So today on Work Faster, we are just gonna go over briefly my method for clipping drums and making things sound nice and tight. Let's get started. Congratulations, you made a drum loop. Now what? On your master here, if you look, you'll see that this thing is peaking at quite a loud level, even though the kick is not. So the kick is peaking at about -6, and the clap is peaking at -1.28. Pretty big difference. So even if you go and do a quick little mix down, you'll still see that there is a peak happening. Now, in the grand scheme of things, that might not matter, but I'm kind of crazy when it comes to mix downs. It's one of my favorite things to do, and I like to have a lot of uniformity. I like to have my drums hit right at 6 or below 6 decibels. So what I do is I use something called a clipper. Specifically, I use something called StandardClip. This right here is a lovely tool that does exactly what we talked about earlier. It just clips the input and gives you a new output. What's cool about this is that this plugin has a built-in saturator effect to it. A lot of clippers do, but I particularly like this one. If we see on the graph, we see this peak happening that's pretty loud in comparison to the drum. But if we take the clipper and start to clip down, I want you to really pay attention to if you hear any audio difference when I start to clip the clap. How about now? I don't either. So what's really nice about this is that now if you go to your master, you'll see we are hovering right below -6 decibels. But what's now neat about this is that there's a certain selection called Soft Clip Pro and Classic. I find that the Pro saturates faster, so you can use a little bit less of a percentage. And all we'll do is we'll just boost it just a little bit until we start to hear the distortion on the kick get too loud and annoying. So you can hear the difference now when you start to actually saturate it. Even with 6%, now if we look at our drums, you can see that they're towards the same volume, and the integrity of both the sounds are the same. I like to put a clipper on my drums, I like to put a clipper on my mids and tops, etc., etc. This is not necessarily a tutorial on how to use StandardClip, but more about the process behind clipping, and I use it in order for me to both get a lot of loudness, but also be able to mix accordingly and get some pretty neat dynamic range stuff when you start to mix down all the things that you've clipped, and of course at the end master it correctly. Hope you guys liked this video. If you did, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. And of course, if you want any further information or specific lessons from me, don't forget to head to our Patreon at www.patreon.com/foxedofficial. Catch you guys in the next one. Stay crazy and stay foxed.